Good day to all. This is the continuation of our previous discussion about system design. Last video presentation, we discussed different responsibilities and activities under product and service design. We also included in the discussion the various reasons why firms design and redesign product and services. Today, we will point out the different phases in product and service design and development, as well as some important topics associated to the system design. Let us start with the discussion of phases in product design and development. Product design and development have different phases that need to be followed. Feasibility analysis, product specification, process specification, prototype development, design review, market test, product introduction, follow-up evaluation. Let us discuss these stages one by one. The first phase is the feasibility analysis. It is the process of finding the strengths and weaknesses of an existing business or proposed venture, opportunities and threats present in the environment, the resources required to carry through, and ultimately the prospects for success. Feasibility analysis involves market analysis, economic analysis, and technical analysis. Also, it is essential to answer the question, does it fit with the mission? It requires collaboration among marketing, finance, accounting, engineering, and operations. As the name infers, a feasibility analysis is used to determine the possibility of an idea or the proposed project, such as ensuring if it is legally and technically feasible as well as reasonable in terms of socio-economic aspects. In this phase, the company will determine if a project is worth the investment. Take note that feasibility is an assessment of the practicality of a proposed project or system. It consists of 4 tests: operational feasibility, technical feasibility, schedule feasibility, and economic feasibility. The second phase is the product specification. It is the process of listing down all the aspects and features that are required to be present in the product in a strategic way. It is a document that contains all the requirements that are aimed to be in the product. This process is relevant when designing the product because it provides a detailed overview of what all features should be embedded in the product to get the desired result. Next is the process specification. It is a method used to document, analyze, and explain the decision-making logic and formulas used to create output data from process input data. It means, during this stage, the company or the assigned team for product design and development should consider all the necessary process needed to convert the product specification into the desired output. There are 3 goals why process specification needs to be included in the product design and development. One of the goals is to reduce the ambiguity of the process. This means that through having the process specification, the developer will be guided in detail about the process of converting input into output. The second goal is to obtain a precise description of what is accomplished, and the last one is to validate the system design. This goal includes ensuring that a process has all the input data flow necessary for producing the output. The fourth phase is all about prototype development. The product designer or developer should create a few units to see if there are any glitches with the product or process specifications. Prototype development is a key process to develop and create a successful product. It is a challenging task to create profitable and economically viable manufacturing solutions in a competitive global market environment. Take note that one of the advantages of prototyping is that it really saves time and money. Through the process of prototype development, the company can examine the design and get feedback from others while the company are still thinking of ways to make it better. After prototype development, design review is necessary. In this stage, any essential changes are made or the project is abandoned. Marketing, finance, engineering, design, and operations cooperate to regulate whether to continue or abandon. The term design review refers to a specific management technique that is used primarily for the purposes of conducting a thorough evaluation of a proposed design. If the product developer finds some flaws about the product, then it will be subjected to revision until the company meet the desired output. Next stage is the market test. It is a trial conducted before the commercialization or launching of a newly designed or developed product to find out the facts about the output. Market testing can be used to identify potential problems with a product that exists outside of the development process, and it commonly occurs in the market. It can be a complicated process of determining where, when, and how long to have a product in the market. It also provides metrics on the actual in-market performance of the product. Further, most market testing is primarily meant to provide feedback on how to improve the marketing strategy, not just the product. If the market testing became successful, the next stage would be product introduction. During this stage, the new product is endorsed and the process will be handled by marketing. Once the product developed is already tested in the market and once approved for distribution to target customers, then, the company will undergo to the introduction of the product. This is the time the company can generate profit. Then, the final stage is the follow-up evaluation. Based on user response, variations may be made or forecasts developed. This stage is also handled by marketing team. During this process, the company would like to ascertain that the developed products are effective to the end users or not. This is the way of the firm as well to get feedback from the users that are relevant for the continuous improvement of the products that the company offers in the market. Aside from the phases of product design and development, one of the important areas in system design is the phases in service design and development. We all know that product and services have a huge distinctions in many aspects, including the process of the design and development. When we are talking about the service design and development, the following phases are included. First phase is the conceptualization stage. In conceptualizing service, it is important to have a blueprint wherein it is a method for describing and analyzing a service process. Once everything was conceptualized, the company will move forward to the second stage of service design and development, which is the service package component. In this phase, all the necessary components of the services should be associated in the process. When we say service package, it refers to the physical resources needed to perform the service, the supplementary goods, and the explicit and implicit services included. The third phase is the determination of performance specification. Typically, performance specifications are written on projects that are straightforward. Meaning, the service developer should be more specific about the system, they should clearly figure out how the specific service will perform. Next phase is the translation of performance specification into design specification. Once the performance specification is completed, the next phase would be the design specification. In this phase, the developer should be focused on what are the specified things to be included in the service design so that the system will be going to meet the standard of the market demand. The last process is the translation of the design specification into delivery specification. Service delivery system refers to the skills, processes and facilities needed to provide the service. In this stage, the developer should ensure that the required skills are met and the required facilities will be available in the delivery of the newly designed services. These are the 5 phases in service design and development. The next important area that we should know about the system design is the capacity. Like what we have discussed, product and service design and even redesigning is needed by the company to continually improve the existing product and constantly meet the customer's demand. However, before the implementation of designing and development of product and services, the company should also consider the capacity to execute the said business activity. Thus, the organization should have a good capacity plan. Capacity planning is one of the key strategic in designing a system. It involves many basic decisions with long-range impact to the organization. It is the practice of planning or determining production capacity and workforce needs to make sure your supply chain is equipped to meet demand. There are activities that needs to give a concrete answers. Here are the following questions that need to consider in capacity planning. What kind of capacity is needed? In determining the capacity of the firm, the company should identify the type of capacity needed. Capacity planning has 3 types. The product capacity planning, the workforce capacity planning and the tool capacity planning. How much is needed to match the demand? When identifying the capacity of the organization, asking how much is needed to meet the demand is very essential. It is important for the company to determine the capacity of workforce, like how many people are needed to perform the development, how much cost is associated when designing the product and services, etc. When it will be needed. Timetable of business activities is relevant for the effective capacity of the firm. During the capacity planning, the firm should know when the necessary designing or the redesigning of the product and development is needed. Take note that the following are the things to consider in capacity planning. Cost. The firm should consider the cost associated in capacity planning. Take note that all business activities require budget and it incur costs. Thus, the company should have enough budget for the capacity planning. Expected return. The primary aim of doing business is to gain profit. Thus, the organization should consider the return when they start investing the company fund for capacity planning. Benefits and risks. For the efficient result of the capacity plan, benefits and risks should be considered by the organization. When the firm fails to consider these things, they might encounter system failure. Sustainability issues. One of the most common issues of many organizations is the sustainability issues. The company should take sustainability into account to achieve the long-term goal of obtaining profit without any harsh effect on the environment. Supply chain requirements. The company should consider the smooth flow of supply while in the execution of the process. Apart from the things to consider in terms of capacity planning, the following steps should take into account. Estimation of capacity requirements in the future. Evaluate existing capacity and facilities, then identify the gaps. Identification of alternatives in meeting capacity requirements. Conduct financial analyses of the alternatives. Assess key quality issues of each alternative. Selection of best alternative. Implementation of selected alternative. And monitoring of results. So in order for the organization to obtain effective capacity plan, the following strategies are highly recommended. Design flexibility to the system. Take advantage of life cycle into account. Take a big picture approach to capacity changes. Prepare to deal with capacity chunks. Attempt to smooth out capacity requirements. And identify the optimal operating level. Let us now move on to process selection. Process selection refers to determining on the way production of goods or services will be controlled. It has key associations for capacity planning, layout of facilities, equipment, and design of work systems. When we are talking about the company's processes, we need to consider the following types. Job shop. It is usually operate in relatively small scale of process. This type of process is used when the volume of requirements is low. Batch. It is used when operating in relatively moderate volume of goods and services. Further, it will be used when you are working with moderately variety of goods and services. Repetitive. It is used for high volume requirements and often a standardized products and services. Continuous. It is used for very high volume and high standardized products and services. These are the different types of process the company should consider when implementing capacity plan. These processes are also useful for the company to improve their capacity to implement system design and development. That's all for this video presentation. Please comment down what you have learned from the discussion. Thank you very much and God bless you all.